Yep, I'm here. All right, let's see. Waiting, 15 seconds in. Still waiting for the screen. Here comes my screen, and yep, I get an ad. Go figure. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And now, okay. All right, I can see me. Johnny Finance, Jacob says 5x5, Finley the dog, Claudia, Motimer, Heavens Fires, Sherry Cabell. Okay. Greetings, gang. Happy Tuesday night. All right, let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can get more viewers tonight than Jimmy Kimmel got on the Oscars, right? God, what a waste of a sperm. But there we go. All right, so happy Tuesday. As you can see, I got a little bit of sun today because, yeah, I was out working in the gardens. It was a nice day here and didn't rain. It was 70 degrees, 69, I think. And so I got a chance to till out my big garden. That took me 3 hours between spreading compost and tilling and raking and getting it all nice and smooth. So Mrs. P and I can lay out some landscape fabric tomorrow and get our cabbage in the ground and our broccoli in the ground finally. Because it's supposed to rain, I think, Thursday and Friday. So it'd be a perfect time for it. But yeah, sorry about being late posting this today, but I was working. You know, good old daylight savings time helps everybody. It's like, all right, it's dark, 7:45 now. I mean, it's March, so good for us. Actually, people come home from work and get something done, right? MTP, uh, planting trees. So there we go. Good deal. Uh, so yeah, that was kind of the fun of it today. So that's why if I apologize for getting this up late, but that was it. So I know you guys all like to chat in ahead of time, and I know it was what I gave you like an hour and a half or whatever. But all right. Uh, Other thing I want to talk about tonight, real quick, and I know everybody's waiting, and we'll get there. Okay. You guys remember when I did a interview with Drew Miller maybe about 6 weeks ago, Fortitude Ranch, and I had mentioned the app that they have, Collapse Survivor. They have it up, and I checked it out here in the last week. It's actually pretty cool, and you can go check it out. I would highly suggest doing the 30-day free trial. Okay? It puts you through scenarios of what you can expect in your situation. And again, like we all talk about, there is no one size fits all. Okay. So you go onto this app, it's just on your phone, Collapse Survivor, go into the Play Store, or Apple Play, or whatever it's on Apple. I don't know. I don't do Apple. It's made in China, so why would I do Apple? But take a look at that. You put in, how much water you have, how much food you have, how much ammunition you have, et cetera, et cetera. And then it gives you current real world issues and walks you through a scenario. And you have to make the decisions. What would you do? It ain't perfect. Don't get me wrong. Okay, nothing is. I mean, predicting the future is fruitless. You try, but Nostradamus wasn't even right. And you kind of see where you would fall with your decisions, and it's a good educational tool. So I wanted to bring it up just because Drew got a hold of me and said that this was live about a week ago, and so they let me beta test it. And there were a couple of problems with it, and he got with me today and said they were fixed. And I went through the scenarios, and perfect example. What happens if Biden wins? What happens if Trump wins? What happens if there's an EMP? There's different scenarios that you can kind of play through, and it'll tell you based on your decisions how long you'd survive. Okay. I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it's a good brain exercise that'll help you a little bit with what your shortcomings might be. So, worthwhile checking out. So, just wanted to say that. I mean, I don't do sponsorships or anything like that, but I talked to Drew and he told us about this, a month or two ago, and I checked it out. It's kind of cool to play around with. So, if you are bored one afternoon or sitting at lunch at work, go check it out. It'll take you more than an hour, but go check it out, and they'll walk you through the whole thing. So that was the fun part there. Other than that, it was just a nice day here, kind of chill out, get some work done. Mrs. P and I actually got a chance to sit on a porch and let the dogs run around the yard for a couple hours, which was kind of nice. And it goes into something else that I tell everybody, my opinion, again, with prepping, stop and smell the roses. Okay. Take that chance out to look around and appreciate everything you have, everything you've done. Understand this, guys. You're ahead of 95% of the rest of the population if the world blows up tomorrow. Simply put, okay? Don't freak out and go, oh my God, I've got to do this and I've got to do this. Now, granted, if you're brand new to this, you've been prepping for 3 months or 6 months, yeah, you're still in the panic mode. I got to get all this done. If you've been doing this for a couple years, 3 years, a decade, 20 years, you already know that you've got food galore put away. You've got ammunition that would make the state armory jealous. You're well trained in using any of that ammunition. You have your power taken care of. You've already worked out 80% of your issues. Nobody's ever going to get to 100%. You know that. And you look at your neighbor who's going, I bought a new jet ski. Look at me. And go, do you know how to plant tomatoes? I just buy them at the grocery store. Okay, great. Good luck to you, buddy. Enjoy life. We don't get yesterday back. And that's something that's so important for everybody to remember. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that, because I know what y'all are going through. Been there, still, there's days I go, holy crap, I got to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. A lot of you guys going to work every day going, I got to do this after I get home from work and do this and this and this and this and this. Sit back and take inventory of what you've already done and be proud of yourself, because all those people that haven't done squat are going to envy you real soon. So, all right. I just want to say that real quick, just what was on my mind tonight. I know what's on a lot of your minds. I don't know, what do we got? 2,200 people in here right now. We have a couple of EcoPower coolers to give away tonight. 2 of them. Okay. Now, we're going to do this as we always do. I will show you guys. Oops, I didn't even set up my computer right. And that's kind of messed up. All right, hang on a second. I got to redo this. Crap. All right, give me a second. I got to set this up. All right, so bear with me. Cannot believe I forgot to do that. That tells you how brain dead I was today. But we'll get close enough to it. All right, so before we get into this, I will remind everybody how this works. We're going to do this on the random comment picker like we do always. In order to be entered for this, you had to comment on the video from the other day, the state in which you lived in, and who you wanted Donald Trump to pick as your VP. Okay. And it's funny reading through the comments. I saw a lot of the normal cast of characters, that people wanted Ramaswamy or wanted Tucker Carlson. There was some real weird picks in there too, but that was fine. It's just, how I do it. It's just, that's something to keep the trolls out, that, rather than somebody come up. I'm in Michigan, the perpetual contest entries. Okay. So we'll see what happens. But so we will pick that as we draw a name. It will be, first off, it's got to be a valid entry, which includes those two things. Then whoever's name is drawn will have 3 minutes to reply in the chat room here that they're here. Okay, it must be present to win. And you all know, anybody that's been around here for a while knows we probably have about a quarter of the time people don't show up when their name is drawn. So don't disappear on this. Now, I'm going to bring up the other 2 points.
It should be the same account.
I will get there. Yes. Okay. Mrs. P chiming in, reminding me of something, but yeah, I got it. Okay. So 2 things is, first off, I hope everybody's paid attention that your name in the chat room has to closely match your name in the comment that you made. If it says Joe Smith in the chat room and you're Joe Smith 123, because YouTube putting numbers after, I'll check real quick and I'll show you that. But if it's Joe Smith that pulls up as the winner and you go, I'm Bananarama Prepper, I'm not going to look at that. That's not the right answer. Okay. So that's the first part. I've said this numerous times. You guys should know by now. The second thing, and again, I'm going to tell the moderators and I'm going to tell all of you, guys, when the moderators put it up in the chat and I say it here, no more comments, that means no more comments. Mods, that is a 7-day ban from the channel. Okay, you guys can do that. Click on the 3 dots, poof, 7 days, done. Okay, I've asked about this for a year and still people don't want to listen, and I don't care. Okay, I get strikes if I do something stupid. Guess what? You do too. Okay, the reason I do it is there are now 2,344 people in here. There's one of me, and I've got to read all the chats, and you guys know how fast the chat room flies. I'm looking for that one name. Please show a little respect and let the winner announce they are there. Got it? Okay. The end. So, all right, let us pray to God I got this ballpark guessed right. Let's see if I did. We'll flip the computer or flip the camera over. Maybe, because YouTube keeps moving where everything is. There we go. Sorry, I'm going to have to adjust this, but all right, so you guys can see. There is the link from the original video. So we are going to fetch, see what we got. We do not include replies, as I say every time. It is primary comments only. Replies don't matter. This is why I said when people say, hello, good morning, whatever, if that comment comes up, that's not a valid entry. Okay, it's got to be everything. Allow duplicates, of course, we leave that off. Everybody gets one entry. That's the way it works. So let's see how many entries we have. And I believe there was, nearly 3,000 entries. So we will see what we got. Hey, Prep Rebels, slow down a little bit. I haven't said no comments yet. So I saw Marfool's Gold in there. We're not shutting people down yet. So when I say it, then we got it. So, all right, 2,914 comments does not mean they are all valid. So, all right, now at this point, no more comments unless you are the winner. And once I see a few of the mods post that. There we go. Jacob's posted it. Okay. There's your stop. Do not make any more comments. I'll wait a couple more. Tristan said it. Motimer said it. Robert said it. Cat Lady said it. Okay. At that point, there you go. Prep Rebel said it. Good. At that point, you guys should have it. Okay. Done. All right. Anybody that's commenting now, you're getting tossed. Simple as that. Let's see who our first winner is. Remember, we got 2 of these tonight. Pick a winner. Just me, Sandy B. Hey, you Mr. and Mrs. Pinball and all you folks waving here from the state of Illinois. There you go. Help, LOL. I'd say DeSantis for Trump's running mate. Thanks for the opportunity. Just me, Sandy B. That is a valid entry. So now, let us see if just me, Sandy B, is here. And I got to get back here to take a look. All right, so just me, Sandy B. It is 8:16. You have till 8:19 to say I'm here. Billy the Kid, we'll see you in a week. You're out of here. Just me, Sandy B. Mama, we'll see you here in a week. Do. Just me, Sandy B. Just waiting for you. And like I said, guys, do not disappear. We got a second drawing, and if just me, Sandy B is not here, we will do the first drawing all over again. All right, 8:17. We got 2 more minutes to wait. Ticking along. Guess I will have my electrolyte water. Yes, in case anybody's wondering about the weigh-in, I weighed in at 213 today, so I'm down 16. Jacob, doesn't matter. I've already said what the rules are. Edward Perryman, have a nice week. Aaron Mast, have a nice week. Marty, have a nice week. Just me, Sandy B. We are waiting. Guys, I'm not kidding when I said you comment and you're not the winner, you're gone. Okay. Simply put, I've said this for a freaking year. If you can't follow directions, I really have no patience. You have no ability to survive in any sort of SHTF situation if you can't follow simple directions. That's just reality. Sorry. And it's not like this is a surprise to anybody. What have we done? 50 drawings here in the last year, and the rules have been the same. All right, just me, Sandy B. You have 1 more minute, and then we will draw another name. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Waiting on down. And time's up. All right. So, like I said, we go again. We'll change this back. We will flip the screen over. There it is. Okay. Close that out. And we will pick another winner. CP Tophers, 4626. Greetings from Maine. I think Jesse Ventura would make an interesting choice. Like I said, there were some interesting comments. CP Tophers, if you are here, you have until 8:22 to say you are here. Let's flip that back. Here we go. CP Tophers, 4626. You have till 8:22 Eastern Time. No, let's not do one of these. What do we have? I think the record we've had so far is oh, there we go. CP Tophers. We have a name. Okay. And we're just going to double check, as we always do, to make sure that CP Tophers is actually who he is. I will show you this. Here we go. Whoops. Let's show you guys this. CP Tophers 4626. There we go. That is a valid winner. CP Tophers, what I will need you to do is email me your name, physical mailing address, not post office box, and phone number, and I will get everything over to Elliot, and they will probably get this out to you by the end of the week. So there is our first winner. All right, let us go back, and we are going for our second winner. Everybody ready? Catherine Smalley, have a nice night. Mountain Mama, have a nice night. See you in a week. All right, pick a winner. Still going on. Eyes Wide CB7WR. Letitia James is demanding the firefighters who booed her on the stage return themselves in. Not a valid entry. Sorry, that does not work. Okay, we do it again. Joe Miller, 4223. High Pinball from Michigan. I think Dr. Ben Carson would be a great VP pick. Thanks for all you do. That is a valid entry. All right. Joe Miller, are you here? There is the big question. It is 8:21. You have till 8:24 to announce your presence. Looking for Joe Miller, 4223. Forehead itches. All right, looking for Joe Miller. Joe Miller, 4223. Joe Miller is here. Now, let's make sure that Joe Miller is Joe Miller, 4223. I got to get to the dots. There we go. Go to channel. We will show you guys this. And Joe Miller, 4223. That is a valid person. All right. So, Joe Miller, you are our second winner tonight. Congratulations. I need you to do the same thing. Email me your name, physical mailing address, and your phone number, and we will get this all over to you, or get it all over to Elliot so you guys get your prize tomorrow morning. So, all right. As per normal, it was not as chaotic as normal, but good. I'm glad we got through that. Good, good, good. All right, so let me clear out some screens here, and we have our two winners. Congratulations to you both. I'm glad that all went well. Glad 99.99% of you listened to directions. For the half a dozen people that didn't, sorry, guess we'll see you in a week. We'll go from there. All right, so let's get into normal Q&A now that we have 37 minutes left for it. As per normal, if you guys have questions for me, please put it in all caps in the chat room, just like every other YouTube channel out there, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. I do not have all the answers. You guys know that. Okay. Wish I did, but until I can walk on water, and ain't gonna happen. Pay attention to the chat room. Somebody else may have the answer for you. I mean, I'm not going to be able to tell you how to milk goats. I don't have goats. Okay. So, got a lot of answers, just not all of them. The only thing I do require is that you are polite, friendly, and not rude in here. Any insulting comments to me or anybody else in the chat room will turn into a permanent ban from the channel. No problem. Moderators know that. If they have any questions about it, they email me and I make the decision. My channel, my rules. The end. Okay. So, all right. Let's get up to, the top. I'm going to go after all the congratulations. and see what we got. All right, so Florida Mama Bear starts. Do I fertilize all my crops on a set schedule? Yes and no. Because, and again, this is where the one size fits all doesn't work for everyone. There's a lot of people that make, say, 4x4 little garden plots, 4 foot by 4 foot, 16 square foot plots. And they'll plant all their tomatoes in there or all their peppers in there. And then you get me, and I have full-size gardens. I mean, you guys know, I've got 3 of them that are 16 by 24 and one that's 24 by 40. Okay. Well, I don't have one crop in a garden. So what do? Well, it depends on what the crop is. Like this year, my big garden, the one I was tilling today, that will have my cabbage, my beets, my potatoes, and my corn in there. Well, each one of them requires different fertilizers. The corn is heavy in nitrogen. The potatoes need more phosphorus and potassium. Uh-oh, I see somebody sneaking up on my corner here.
Congratulations to all the winners.
There she is. Dog and Mrs. P.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Pooch. All right.
We love you.
There we go. So, on a set schedule for a garden, not necessarily, okay? But on a set schedule for the particular crop, yes. And you need to know what particular crop needs what. My root vegetables, sure, they're going to get more phosphorus, more potassium. My corn, that's all that needs is nitrogen. Phosphorus and potassium is a waste of time putting that for corn. That's just a waste of money. So, but yes, you need to follow the recommended fertilizer schedule. I mentioned this probably 2 years ago. If anybody wants to know what the recommended schedule is for what type of fertilizer for any plants, email me. I'm more than happy to send you my fertilizer schedule. Granted, I don't grow everything, okay? So if you're growing okra, I can't tell you because I don't know, because I can't stand okra. Right, MTP? Right, Robert Bates? Lorna, if you're in here, right? You guys are busting my chops about okra. Okay. I don't eat it, I don't grow it. But for the stuff I grow, which is, depending on the year, a lot of different things, I'm more than happy to share my fertilizer schedule with you. Okay. Rustic Design, Niles, Michigan yesterday lost all power. Power company won't say why. Go figure. Okay. Of course, they're not going to tell you. And if they do tell you, do you believe them? Oh, somebody threw the wrong switch. Right. Okay. The question is, how long did it take to come back? Was it something little? Okay. Was it a transformer blew? Remember, you guys know this. This has been all over the news. We talked about this a year ago. It's 4 years to get parts from China to keep our electricity going. Okay. Maybe they go, oh, Niles, Michigan doesn't have it, but maybe, I don't know, somebody in Washtenaw County does or something like that. So maybe they can get it, but eventually that runs out. Okay. Again, this is why it is so important to be self-sufficient, because there's going to be a day in Niles, Michigan, or pick anywhere else, where they go, power will be back in about 2 years. You go, well, what am I supposed to do? Sucks to be you, right? That's the government's response to everything. Sucks to be you. David Haley, can pine straw be used as mulch around your plants in the garden? Yes, but. Okay. So you guys know what pine straw is. Pine straw is basically pine needles. Okay. And you hear this all the time. Oh, pine needles are acidic. You don't want to use them. Yes, they are. When they're green, okay? You do not want to use green pine needles around your vegetable plants. They're too acidic. They will acidify the soil. Now, if you want to put them around your azaleas, your rhododendrons, your blueberries, green pine needles are great. Okay. Pine needles brown are neutral pH. Great organic matter to add to the garden. You got pine straw, fine, no big deal. The pine straw has a pH somewhere right around 6.8 or 6.9. 7 is neutral, so you are fine. Don't worry about using pine straw at all. Great mulch. Cheryl Holder, any thoughts on what is happening in Haiti? Yeah, what do we got? The guy, the warlord named Barbecue has now taken over the country. I mean, if you guys saw this a week ago, you had armed gangs break into a prison and released about 4,000 convicted criminals into Haiti. The prime minister today resigned, okay, and literally there's a gang lord, whatever the hell you want to call him, nicknamed Barbecue, that has said that they will have a bloody revolution. Now, remember where Haiti is. Haiti is part of an island. You have the Dominican Republic on the east, you have Haiti on the west. Okay. If you ever look at a satellite picture, literally there's a line down the middle of the island. The Dominican's all nice and green. Haiti is a freaking nightmare. Okay. Remind me again, all that money the Clinton Foundation raised for Haiti earthquake assistance, where that went? Oh, that's right. It paid for Chelsea's wedding. Okay. Yeah, I'd be not like Haiti's any sort of threat to the United States, but you wonder why we have Haitians coming across the southern border. Okay. You wonder why Haitians are trying to get out anywhere they can. That country has been, to use the term, a shithole for a couple of decades. You know, it amazes me that, you see cruise lines still going, and one of our ports of call is Haiti. It's like, cool, I want to die. Yeah, just not exactly, not one of those places I plan on traveling anytime, guys. But yeah, just like every other country, well, not that Haiti's Caribbean, but, South America is doing a wonderful job of emptying their prisons and sending everybody to the United States because, hey, Joe's fine with criminals. Open up the news any day of the week, and it's like, oh, and so was murdered by an illegal. So was raped by an illegal. There was the story today. So was killed in a car accident by an illegal going 70 miles an hour in a wrong way on a road. Guess where those 4,000 people are eventually coming? Right here. Crystal clear. Have I put anything in the ground yet? Well, my garlic's in the ground. That was last year. My asparagus is in the ground. That's a perennial. And my cabbage will go in the next day or two, and my broccoli will go in the next day or two. Depends on how ambitious Mrs. P and I get when we're laying out a whole bunch of ground cloth tomorrow. But the cabbage should go in and the broccoli should go in tomorrow. William Tate, good idea. I listed Zelensky as a dependent on my federal returns. Good. Not that it's legal because he doesn't have a social security number, but yeah, ain't that the truth? I mean, like I told you guys in this morning's video, Joe's $7.3 trillion budget. I mean, really? 7.3, we're $34 trillion in debt. Hey, let's spend another $7 trillion this year. Where is the money coming from? And, again, we want to send in Joe's budget, another $60 billion to Ukraine. Eventually, this just has, not eventually, immediately, this has to stop and say, Ukraine, if you can't defend yourself, you don't deserve to be a country. Okay? Period. If Russia wants Lugansk and Donetsk and however far they go, fine. If you don't have the ability to defend yourself, what responsibility is it everybody else's to defend you? There isn't one. Okay? I don't care if Ukraine falls. Period. Okay? I don't support Russia. I don't support Ukraine. But frankly, I don't give a flying F about what happens to Ukraine. Ukraine supposedly has, I think the official numbers are 70,000 dead. For what? Oh, that's right. Because Joe Biden and Emmanuel Macron and Justin Trudeau and Olaf Scholz want 10% to the big guy. Screw him. If Putin takes it over, let him have it. Sorry, Ukraine, you're on your own. You should have figured this out 10 years ago. Thomas Seaban, will I ever quit vaping? No. I'm going to enjoy my life while I have it. Okay? Simply put. Fastball 2611. Pinball, how will I protect my new plantings for the freeze coming on Tuesday? Well, that's why you don't plant everything at the same time. Beets are good to down to about 22 degrees. Cabbage is good down to about 26 degrees, depending on the varieties. There's some beets that are good down to like 5 degrees. Okay. If you're planting tomatoes or cucumbers now, plan on them being dead. Okay. But this is what I've mentioned many times. You need to put your plants in when they can handle the temperatures. Brassicas, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, like the cool weather. They're cool weather crops. They got no problem going down below freezing. No sweat. Okay. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, et cetera, are hot weather plants. Okay. Cabbage will not do well growing in July. Tomatoes will do great. Tomatoes won't do well in March. Cabbage will do great. This is I don't have to worry about protecting them because it ain't going to get too cold to hurt them. Chickadee, who do I want as Trump's VP? I've talked about this. I like Tim Scott. I like Kristi Noem. I think DeSantis completely stepped on his schwanz. If he would have stayed out like he should have, he would have been a shoo-in to been the VP and the 2028 nominee. But he got ahead of himself and thought he could win. Fool. And I think he killed his political career federally. His career will probably end as the governor of Florida. Byron Donalds would be an interesting choice. I've mentioned many times, I think Vivek Ramaswamy would be better as chief of staff. I do not want to see Carrie Lake picked. I think Carrie Lake has a better future as the next senator from Arizona. If I had a pick, if there was one person, and this person's name doesn't get mentioned at all, who I'd want to see as the VP, Ted Cruz. That name come up anywhere? No. Because I could really see Ted Cruz in 2028 mop the floor with anybody. Whoops, we shot to the bottom. Hang on. Okay, I missed a bunch, I can see. Storm Chasing Gal says, aw, copper. There you go. Yes, that tells you how far behind us. Demo says, Mrs. P, you're beautiful. Mimi says, hi, beautiful lady. Mima says, hi, Mrs. P. A whole bunch of Mrs. P comments. Whole bunch of them. Hello, Mrs. P in Copper, says Susan Lathrop. Bass Ackard, yay, we love you too, Mrs. P. Kathleen O'Malley, Mrs. P has a beautiful smile. Yeah. See, she needs to do live streams, not me. All right. David Haley, good to see Mrs. P in Copper. Looks pretty good too. Danny B 925. Wow. Hi, nice seeing you, Mrs. P. Please stop by more often. I keep asking. Doris, Mrs. P is too stinking cute. All right, let's see. All right, we're going to get past all the Mrs. P things because otherwise I'll be reading those for half an hour. Jersey Prepper. Pinball, why are my sprouts growing long and to the side, kind of like they're growing more above ground? I'm also using a grow light, not much space, but we make do. They look like they can not handle their own. Okay. I'm going to bet that you have your plants here and your grow light is here. Okay. So first off, the plants are growing toward the light. So that's why they're growing to the side. They're growing toward the light. The second part is why they are growing long. It's called leggy. Okay. Your light is too high. That light should be no more than about 3 inches above the plant to give you those short, stocky plants that you want. You're going to get real spindly, thin stems because they're stretching for the light. If you keep it down here, they're going to grow stocky, good stalks to them, and that's what it is. So you got the light. If you took a look at my greenhouse deal that I've got, where I've got my lights, okay, there's a lot of them. So it's steady light. It doesn't matter if it's on foot 1 or foot 16 because it's a 16-foot deal. Okay. There's light for all of it. Okay. And as I'm germinating, it doesn't matter how close it is, but once they sprout, I need to get them close. And for what I do is I just basically put 2x4s underneath it, put a slat on there, and I bring them up close to the light. That way I don't get leggy plants. You don't want leggy plants. As soon as if you try to plant leggy plants, the first wind is going to blow them over and they're done. You need those stocky plants. You need that stalk to be strong so they can handle a light breeze as a minimum. Channel 23, don't you miss eating Mrs. P's borscht? The funny part is we were talking about this evening as we were sitting on the porch with the dogs. It's like, I told her, I said, when we get beets, I said, if there's anything that I'm going to break my diet on, it's eating beets. And beets are pretty good. I mean, I can have them. The potatoes won't be in there, but beets, cabbage, I'm all over that, yes. Texas Dear Mama, what type of nitrogen do I use? Okay. So, and again, this is where the difference comes for how you're going to garden. As I told you earlier tonight, we're going to put landscape fabric down. Tennessee weeds and rocks. Okay. I mean, you want to grow weeds and rocks, come to Tennessee. Okay. You don't have to do anything. So I need landscape fabric down. It keeps the weeds down. If you guys remember a couple of years ago, I think I told you, before we were still learning the lay of the land here, when we were pulling our corn stalks, we were cutting down our corn stalks when the season was done, we had weeds in amongst our corn stalks that were as high as our corn stalks. Okay? That those we had to pull out of the ground. Around here, I have no choice but to use weed fabric. Well, there's a problem that you get with weed fabric and the traditional fertilizer. Okay. Using corn, for example. Okay. I want to put nitrogen fertilizer. That's the question, so we'll stick to it. So for nitrogen fertilizer, that's what your lawn needs. Lawn is your grass is a monocot. Okay. And I've explained what monocots are. When you grow a seed, a monocot has 1 shoot come up. A dicot has 2. That's where you get 2 leaves coming out. Okay. Corn All it needs is nitrogen. You don't need to worry about phosphorus or potassium. So you need heavy nitrogen. It's a monocot. Well, I'm going to put lawn fertilizer for my corn because corn is a grass. Seriously, it is. Okay, corn is a grass. But if I put out landscape fabric, all that pelletized lawn fertilizer can't get through the landscape fabric, right? Okay. So you need to put a heavy dose of nitrogen in your corn crop, for example, anything that's going to need nitrogen, before you lay down landscape fabric. Now, you're going to need to supplement nitrogen to those plants, usually depending on what you've got. You want nitrogen for green growth, okay, for those plants to grow. You're going to need to add it for your tomatoes, for your peppers, everything. And as I've done videos on before, you can go into the gardening playlist. The best source of liquid nitrogen you are going to get is free. Pee in a jar. Yep. Mix it 10-to-1, 10 parts of water, 1 part urine in a sprinkling can, or I've shown you guys how I made my little contraption to use it through my sprinkler, okay? And basically what you're doing is putting nitrogen fertilizer right into your garden. Trust me, it works. It's free. You got the little test strips to test your soil or whatever, soil test that you should be doing every spring to see what your nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus is. Put one of those strips into a cup of urine and see what it does. You'll max out. Somebody said okra is foolproof. It is. It's easy to grow. I just hate it. I ain't growing anything I won't eat. Let's see. McHale 539. The cameo for Mrs. P counts as proof of life. There you go. And she got a smile on her face. Barbara C says, great to see you again, Mrs. P. Thanks for showing us your corgi. Beautiful. God bless. Diane S. Are leaves that have already dried out still good for your garden soil nutrients? Oh, absolutely. Okay. And there's multiple ways to use them. Now, dried leaves, which like probably anybody that lives out in any sort of area like me has boatloads of them in the yard right now. I mean, Mrs. P and I were out shredding leaves out of one garden last week, shredding them. And we got 2 lawn-size bags, the big ones, of shredded leaves that I put in my compost pile. Okay, there's the first thing you can do with them. When you're making your compost, you need 2 ingredients, greens and browns. Well, in the wintertime, it's really hard to come up with greens. In the summertime, it's really hard to come up with browns. Okay, so shredding your leaves, even putting them in a bag and saving them until you put grass clippings or weeds or whatever in your compost pile, and you go, crap, now I need browns. And people are like, well, throw cardboard in there or shredded up junk mail. You're not going to get enough. Well, you got those bags of leaves. Throw them in there. Poof. Now you've got browns and greens to go in your compost pile. You're golden. Okay. That's one way to use them. Second way, you could make leaf mold. Do the same thing. You don't even have to shred the leaves for this. Okay. Take your bag of leaves, just rake up leaves, put them in a bag. Take a pitchfork or whatever, stab a bunch of holes in there and soak the living crap out of the leaves till there's water draining out of those holes. Okay. And let it sit there for about 2 years. You've just created leaf mold, which is a great addition to your garden. The next thing, and this goes back to shredding leaves. Shredded leaves are one of the best mulches you could possibly use in your vegetable garden. Okay. They don't decompose quickly. They will keep the soil cool. I know this sounds silly, but it's true. Okay. Putting a blanket over your soil will keep it cool in the summer. Shredded leaves hold a good amount of moisture that will eventually wick into the soil. So if you get one of those droughts, take your shredded leaves, again, bags of shredded leaves, spread them around your tomato plants, your pepper plants, whatever would be. Use that as a mulch because now it's going to continue to water those plants. Even, you ever pick up leaves? It's like, right now, go out in your yard, you got leaves, and it looks all dry on the top until you go underneath and they're soaking wet. They look black. It's because they're retaining all that water. Well, that water is going to wick in the soil and feed your plants. The best part about using those is you don't need to rake them up the following spring when you want to plant again. You can just turn those right into the soil. It's more organic matter, which will just help your plants grow. So, yeah, leaves that have already dried out are great for your garden. Victoria, I purchased grow lights and seeds to try and grow some veggies in my apartment. Thoughts? Celery, lettuce, bush beans, blue leg, bunching sweet onions, cherry tomatoes, Italian sweet peppers. Okay. Celery, you're going to have a really tough time with. I wouldn't even bother trying to do that inside. Okay. Celery is difficult to grow, and indoors is practically impossible. Lettuce is simple. I hope you got leaf lettuce and not like head lettuce. Leaf lettuce is great because it's what's called cut and come again, because you can peel the leaves off of it, leave the stalk, it'll grow more leaves, keep peeling it off. Head lettuce, you get one head, you're done. Okay. Bush beans, blue leg bush beans. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna do it, but you're gonna get a bush that's gonna be the size of a beach ball if you do it well, and that's probably gonna produce you a meal for a couple of people's worth of dinner. That's it. Okay. And again, in order to get the fruit off of it, the bean itself, you have to have the full spectrum grow lights. You can't just have the white ones. You need to have the red, white, and blue, if you will, all the way across. Bunching onions, probably not. Cherry tomatoes, easy to grow indoors, no problem. Again, you need the red, white, and blue lights. Italian sweet peppers, same thing, red, white, and blue lights. If you just got white lights, you're not going to get any fruit. You need the ultraviolet and the infrared light as well. D. Moback, can I use my picker to find out how many people suggested Kerry Lake or Tulsa? No, I can't. I could sort by how many people said Vivek in there, but again, how many people spelled his name right? And B, no, I'm not going to go count them all. There are 2,700 comments or whatever it is. I'm not going to go through and count them all. Tammy Harder, who do I want to see for VP? Like I told you, what I'd like to see is Ted Cruz. Okay, a few of you guys have said the same question. Michigan lifestyle. Here comes taxes going up. Yep, as I talked about today, that was part of Joe's budget plan today. Let's raise taxes. Inflation sucks. Hey, let's take more money from the people. Another day in paradise, 4380. Hey, Pinball, can I plant seedless grapes in the same garden as Concord? I don't want Frankengrape. That I can't answer. I do not know. I am trying. We planted grapevines for the first time I've tried to go grow grapevines here. We tried them here. You get your little stick of a grapevine. Uh, I'm not the grape expert, so I can't tell you on that one. Sorry. Charm C. Some are saying all of the young men capable of serving in the military in Ukraine are dead. Considering some of the pictures we've seen about them bringing 60-year-old guys in and women, and, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Mrs. P and I were talking today about, just, go back to World War II. I mean, yeah, well, these are conversations we have around the house. During World War II, the male population of Russia was basically wiped out. Okay, you got to remember, Russia lost over 20 million people in World War II. I mean, the rest of Europe didn't come close. Okay, you talk about the Holocaust and how many people died. There were more Russians that died in World War II than Jews. Just so you understand that. Okay, if it wasn't for Russia, we might all be speaking German. Okay, because remember, Russia got into Berlin before the Allies did. They don't teach that in school, but that's actually what happened. I mean, according to the U.S. propaganda school system, the United States defeated Hitler. No, okay. That was a joint effort between a lot of countries, Eastern Front, Western Front. There's more truth in Hogan's Heroes than there is in the U.S. school system, just giving you that. But Mrs. P and I were talking about this today. The same thing is going on, not necessarily in Russia, but in Ukraine. I mean, right now, you hear all this stories, 53% of the U.S. population is female. In Russia, there are 9 men to every 10 women in Russia.
In Soviet Union, now it's
Or I'm sorry, she's saying in the Soviet Union. Okay, this was, all right, so going back. What do you think that is in Ukraine right now? With all the men dying. You get to the point where you go, are the politicians, is Zelensky, is Biden committing genocide long term? Okay. If there aren't the men, you can't reproduce. I'm sorry, a woman putting a business suit on does not make her a man. She still can't reproduce. So yeah, if you don't have men, you don't reproduce. This is the end of people. So yeah, you talk about this is they call him Genocide Joe for Palestine, call him Genocide Joe for Ukraine too, because the more Zelensky doesn't care, his wife's out on shopping trips throughout Europe with our money. Okay, but hey, we'll just throw more people into the meat grinder. It's 8:58. We are at the end already. Okay. Fastball 2611. Thanks, Pinball. The cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower are going in tomorrow. Okay. Don't know exactly where you're in, but you're at the right time of the year for it. Dave Moran, how about Ben Carson for VP? I like Ben Carson. I just think he's a little too soft-spoken for what this campaign's going to be. You need a firebrand, my personal opinion. Let's see. We just shot to the bottom and I'm running out of time. Somebody, okay, what it is. Mary Shepard, thank you for the super chat. Wow, I caught alive 10 days on the proper human diet. Was so happy to see a fellow prepper that I follow, also a carny and vapes. There you go. Yeah, hey, nobody ever said I was perfect, okay? Just trying to lose some weight. Yeah, but hey, I've been vaping since 2012, I think. Gave up cigarettes after 30 years. So, Jerry Moore, do I think Cash Patel would be a good VP pick? No, that's a simple answer. Debbie Settles question, what will the cicadas do to your gardens? They will destroy them. So best thing I can say for cicadas is you could put, what's it called? Kale and clay Spray your vegetables, spray your fruit trees with kale and clay. That'll keep the cicadas away. Kale and clay is kind of it's basically the same stuff that they use in women's makeup, like foundation. That's what you're talking about. Won't hurt your plants at all. It ain't. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. But go on, it's KAOLIN. Go find it online. You can buy it. You mix it with water, put it in a sprayer. You spray it all over your trees. And that is 9 o'clock. And if Angry Prepper's on tonight, I'm not stomping on his feet. So y'all have a good night. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.